Let me welcome you, my dear students. This is our 10th learning session of short fictional narrative with BS English 3rd semester. Dear students, let's discuss the outline that today we are going to discuss the feminism in a cup of tea. Let's start our topic, that feminism in a cup of tea. Dear students, A Cup of Tea is a short story written by Catherine Mansfield that tells us how people show generosity for people whom they consider inferior to them. Rosemary Fell was very rich. Though she was not very pretty, she made up for it as she lived in extreme style and fashion. One cold night, after coming out of a shop of fancy antique, she came across a girl by the name of Miss Smith. The poor girl wanted the price of a cup of tea from Rosemary. She thought of doing something generous. She asked the girl to take tea with her at home. She did not believe Rosemary and even suspected that Rosemary might hand her over to the police. But at the Rosemary took her to home, she wanted to show that those nice things that happened in novel and fairy tales about godmothers and generous rich people did really happen in real life also. She felt the unity in all of we can say that in all women too, and thought it was a duty of a woman to help another woman. The girl was very nervous, but Rosemary was all encouraged. Means she was very encouragement and even helped her to take off her clothes. She asked her servant to bring some brandy and tea. The poor girl was too hungry and going to faint if she did not take tea. Rosemary inquired about the girl and show her generosity on the poor creature. She was going to begin her inquiry when her husband Philip came in. He asked his wife to come in library after knew about Miss Smith and asked her about Miss Smith. Rosemary told him all about her. Philip, a practical man, knew that it was not practical. He told his wife that 100 news more about life. He replied that it was not possible because Miss Smith was very pretty. The wise husband's arrow hit. We simply say that it was the person who know how to deal a woman. So the wise husband arrows hit the right point. She was jealous of the poor girl whom her husband found so pretty. So Rosemary went away to her writing room. She took out 3 pounds. She gave the girl the money and sent her away. Rosemary dressed up well and came to her husband. She told him that Miss Smith would not stay for dinner and that she gave her some money. Suddenly she asked him whether he liked her or not. So she asked him to kiss her and asked him whether she could buy the antique box that she had seen in the shop. At last, she asked him if she was pretty. Rosemary was jealous and she wanted to be, reassured that her husband loved her still. Catherine Mansfield was a prominent modernist short fictional writer, and this story is written in the modernist mode. Without a set structure and with many shifts in the narrative, the story is told through the feminine voice and describes both physical and spiritual feminine. delicacy. So main theme of the short story, we say that main themes are feminism, feminism, materialism, and class consciousness. If we analyze the story, the feministic perspective, then we find many feministic features in this story. So, feminism is the advocacy of women's right on the grounds of political, social, and economical equality to men. So, basically, it is a socio political movement for equality of both sex and organized activity on behalf of women's right and common interest. A Cup of Tea deals with gender issue, the feminine experience of reality. From the beginning, the voice introduces us to the life of a main character as well as the most we say the exquisite features. Rosemary Fell appear to be a woman of the new generations with modern ideals and fine taste of art. Means she has a fine taste for art, and in the start writer talks about the qualities of women. In patriarchy society we count the qualities of women but not take her as unity. If we talk about the women, when women have been taken from different perspective in the story, the protagonist Rosemary present as a pretty, means Rosemary was not so pretty, but she was pretty and a modern woman. As the writer said that she was young, brilliant, extremely modern, and exquisitely well dressed, amazingly well read in the newest of the new books, and her parties were the most delicious mixture of the really important people. In the story, women present we say that as the object of beauty and object of pleasure. In the story, the writer talks about Rosemary that she had involved in any other person because her marriage, but she married Peter Michael. It shows that women have not their own will. They are submissive. They cannot do anything without the husband's or father permission. A woman who has internalized the norms and values of patriarchy, so which can be defined in short as any culture that privilege men by promoting traditional gender role. In patriarchal society, women are considered as rational, weak, submissive, and dependent. So, women are kept away from the education and occupational means of acquiring economical, political, and social power to keep them powerless. In simple words, we say that she was very rich, but she was not allowed to purchase even a red box who she just want to buy. In next sense, we find the oppression of women by women. When Rosemary go to Regent Street to buy thing and give and a girl kept her things to her car, and she followed to the car by a thin shop girl straightener and under an immense white pepper armful, and we simply say that it looked like a baby in long clothes. So here we find that how lower class is suppressed by the upper class of the society. Here we can say that many or may the girl that the attendant was from the community of black people, and we know that how black women are suppressed by the white women. It is called racial feminism because in racial feminism white women considered black women inferior from them, so due to their color and races. In the same way that the little girl was suppressed by Rosemary, and this kind of mentioned in second sex, and it was mentioned in the Simone de Beauvoir, and it was the Simone who just want to say that the one woman is considered as higher, has a higher class or superior, and the other one is the superior, is the oppression one or the oppressive. So it is because she herself failed to bring about the changes. In another sense, we get the point of shopping has been specially associated to the women, although they buy the household things and other necessities for the families and for themselves, but they are not appreciated, and she was not allowed by her husband, and she just want to permission her the permission of her husband, and she just want to buy that thing. So, dear student, it was about the feminism. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.